this is Al Finch. I am bringing you a game of Ace of Spades today. I'm going to do a brief overview of the game since it's relatively new. I'll probably hit the rules a little bit harder so that people can understand what's going on. I'm also going to cover a few of the promos that come with this game. I was lucky enough to attend Gen Con earlier this year and was able to pick up the original set. One of the promos that were in the original set I have here. It is simply a shiny foil holographic Ace of Spades. Has no effect on gameplay, but it does look pretty. I am not going to include this in my deck. I want to keep it in good shape, so I'm going to set this aside for this gameplay. Another item that I received as part of the promo package at Gen Con included this card. This is an Ace of Space. It's explained on this rule card. You remove the Ace of Hearts, Diamonds, or Clubs of your choice from the poker deck. You use a standard poker deck with this game. This can be any ace except the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Space plays in any hand just like any other ace in your deck and adds 3 extra damage points as normal. Since it's its own suit, you cannot include it in flush or flush hands. In the game, you deal damage according to your poker hand. The most powerful hands, the best hands, 5 of a kind, deal 12 damage, going all the way down to just a single pair, which does a single damage. This is a disadvantage, then, if this cannot be used in flush or straight hands. So you think, why would you play with this? Well, once per game, if you have the Ace of Space in your hand, you may remove it completely from the game, immediately banish the enemy that you're facing. You're going to be dealing a certain amount of damage to most enemies. This will let you basically bypass somebody. This works with any enemy except for the final nemesis. You should probably use it before facing the big bad monster. Both cards are returned to the box, never to be seen again, and you don't benefit from any bonus the banished enemy may provide. So that is the Ace of Space. Again, I want to keep this card in good shape for right now, so I'm not going to include it in the game. I am really still just a beginner, and I don't want to have an extra set of rules to deal with. There is an additional promo on the flip side of this rules card. We have a description of the Ace of Base villain. I'm pretty sure that this is a parody of the pop group Ace of Base, given that the title here says all that she wants matches their hit single. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know in the comments. Anyway, there's a bunch of references in this game, so I am not shocked that these folks show up here. Ace of Base is a little strange. The typical villain is something that is taken out by a certain number of damage points. Again, between 12 and 11 can be done with a single hand. This can only be taken out if you play a queen and an ace together in your hand, and they have to be of the same suit. You can also not use your jammed gun rule to take out this villain. Basically, where you can play a hand of 5 cards to deal 0 damage. That lets you reset your hand. They keep you from doing that. So it's a complicated enemy. Again, I'm a beginner. I don't think I want to play with these guys just yet. That is the Ace of Base promo that I received when I picked up the game at Gen Con. All right, now that we've got that, we'll do a little bit of setup. The game comes with kind of a little player board here. This is where you stack the villain cards. And you may have noticed here, I have some of the villain cards set aside. This is the final baddie, Lord Overkill, and he comes with different modes. We have easy mode, which has no text. It's just straight up 50 points of damage that have to be done to take out this baddie. We have the normal version, which says you must include the Ace of Spades in at least one of the scoring hands. The Ace of Spades will be stuck on this enemy and never being placed on the discard pile. So you've got to use an ace here to defeat him. I'll be using the normal version for the game today. Should probably use easy, but I feel like I should try and play normally. Lord Overkill in the hard version says you must include the ace of spades in the last scoring hand that you play. And then the Nightmare version of Lord Overkill, you have to include the ace of spades in the last scoring hand you play without using a joker. Jokers are essentially a wild card. They don't start in the deck, but they can potentially be added later. Or any bonus to modify another card to become an ace of spades. So there you go, Nightmare Fuel indeed. I am, as I said, using the normal version. So he will be the first card placed on this little mat. I am now going to add in a stack of other villains, which were randomly chosen ahead of time. They have numbers, so 12 is the last villain, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, essentially all the way down to a 0 power level villain at the start of the game. So there we go. That's the initial setup. I have my player card over here that lets me track certain things, the damage done to the enemy, the duel count. It's essentially shows how many hands that you have left. If this gets to 0, while this is still showing a positive number, you lose the game. We also have a discard and draw effect that we can use. You can discard any number of cards and then draw up to 8. You can also renew the deck using this effect. If you renew the deck, basically you shuffle all of the cards that have been previously used into the deck. That comes in handy later in the game. All right, so we are now going to reveal the first villain, and not particularly tough. All right, this one is the Mule. So if you look here, the Mule has a value of 5, and it has a ability at the bottom. The ability only comes into a play when you defeat the villain. It's essentially a one-time positive effect that lets you, modify your hands in the game at a later time. So right now, our challenge is to deal 5 points of damage to the Mule. If we can't, then we'll lose the game. We have 2 hands to do this in, and we have 2 opportunities to discard and draw. I'm going to set the values over here so that we can track them. So 2 hands, 2 opportunities to discard or renew, and then 5 points of damage are needed to be done to the Mule. All right. This symbol here is a scene change. Essentially, when you see that, the deck has to be shuffled. Then you draw 8 cards. So this is the first scene. We'll get our first batch of 8 cards. All right, so it's not a bad hand to begin with. We have a single pair, standing as a pair of 7s. Oh, we have 2 pair, actually. We have a pair of aces, a pair of 7s, and a jack. This would be an excellent hand for destroying a high-level villain, or at least a better than the Mule. I'm a little sad that this came up so early, but in any case, here's what we got to do. We have 8 cards. I've got to play 5 of these to deal damage. A single pair on its own will deal a single point. That's not enough to take out the Mule. 2 pair would do 2 points. Still not enough to do the Mule. But because I have these high value cards in my hand, I also do additional damage. Jack, King, and Queen each add 1. So the Jack existing there would deal a single extra point. And each ace also does an additional 3. So with the hand that I have here, and I think this is what I'm going to roll with, I am going to do a single pair of 7s plus the ace of clubs. I have to throw in a couple of other cards here. I'm gonna chuck in this 9 and 10. Maybe I'll end up getting a flush later. I somehow doubt it, but I'm going to set aside these other cards that don't go in the hand. Then I will play this hand. This will cause my hand or dual dial to go down by 1, okay? And the damage that it does a single point for the pair of 7s, plus 3 for the ace. That is the 5 that we needed to take out this particular baddie. All right, so those go into the discard pile. The mule is reduced to 0. And then I set it aside. I have this now accessible as a potential temporary effect. The temporary effect that it says it might have later is change the value of one of the cards in the hand to a value from 2 to 10. So I can alter the number on one of my cards later. This is available for me one time during the game. All right, now that we've defeated that enemy, we retain, all right, what we have unless there's a scene change. So I have these 3 cards still, my 3, Jack, and Ace of Spades. And we reveal the next enemy, which happens to be a warrior. This one says takes 7 to damage and deal with, so we'll bring this count up to 7. We have a dual hand 2, and then a discard opportunity of 2, so I'll reset. This is the same as the mule, just a little bit tougher. Because I don't have a playable hand, I am going to go ahead and do my discard and draw. This time, I don't anticipate getting a flush, but we might as well go for it. I'm going to discard nothing and draw 5. And 5. All right. Some junk, but I at least have a pair. This probably will be enough to take this particular baddie out. I hate throwing away the ace so soon, but I'd rather get rid of the hand. You know, I might do a discard and draw. I know that I can take him out. So this is a pair, all right, for a single point, another point for the jack, another point for the king, plus 3 more. So that would do the 7 needed. But, you know, I want to hang on to these face cards if I can. Could get lucky. So, all right, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to discard 3, bring this down to 0, draw 3. Okay, I kind of like that. I have a pair of queens, which is good. 2 pair would give me 2 points, plus 2 queens, plus a jack. Yeah, that would allow me to deal enough damage. So 1 point, 2 points, plus another 3. No, that's not enough. I think I'm going to hang on to the queens. We'll do 1, 2, 3, plus 3. This one's tough. I think I need to do this. All right. Given that I have no more discards and draws, that's 2 points plus 1, 2. So that's 4 plus 3. That's 7. All right. So that's exactly the amount that we need to take out the warrior. Go down to 0. Go down to 1. The warrior is taken care of, so we'll go ahead and set him off to the side. We'll keep this hand here. Now we reveal the next villain. Calamity Jane. This is a true villain. So it's immune to hands with a single pair, but not two pair or full houses. So real villains are a little bit tougher, so they have restrictions on the hands that you can play. The nice thing is if you can defeat them, you get a standing ability. So I'll explain that if I get so lucky to take out Calamity Jane here. I suspect I may end up having to use some of these guys to help me out. Once these cards are used here, I am done for the game. So let's see. We'll get up to 2 again for her and 2 here. And you know what? I'm going to pause for a moment and double check and make sure I'm not making life more difficult for me. I think with each reveal of a villain, I still get to draw up to a full set of cards. So facing off the next enemy, we adjust our enemy life dial so that we show that's what's indicated. We adjust the hand and discard dial. And when, yes, we draw up to 8 cards. So I do make this adjustment and I do get to refill. I don't have to spend it. That was a mistake on my part earlier. All right, so let me go up here to 8. All right. Well, looks like we're going to get our 2 pair. So there's 2 5s and 2 2s. I have a jack and a king to throw onto this heap as well. I could attempt to get a flush. I have jacks and I have clubs. It's mighty tempting to try for that flush. Ooh, see, the warrior says any spade cards that are in the hand that I play this turn are considered part of the club suit. So I could give myself a clubs-based flush. And I think I might try and do that. So I'm going to keep 2 5s and a 6. Maybe I'll be able to get a straight. We'll see. But what we have here is now the equivalent of a flush. Okay, I'm using the warrior's ability, so all the spades cards in hand that I play this turn are considered part of the club's suit. So these guys are clubs, these guys are clubs, all clubs. The clubs give us a flush of 5, plus we have a king and a jack. That's an additional 2. So this will deal 7 in this hand to Calamity Jane. So that goes down 1. This goes down to 3. Hopefully I can get 2 pair with a face card of some kind when I discard and draw back up. All right, go ahead now and move to my discard. Oh, goodbye, warrior. You served me well. I am going to draw. That's what I wanted. Oh, even better. Even better. It's a shame that I got 4 of a kind there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, here's the thing, folks. After you defeat a villain, you end up having to shuffle everything back in. In the next scene, you get a scene change. But I might as well play my 4 of a kind and deal 8 points of damage to Calamity Jane. Take her out. So it doesn't really matter what kind of junk I've got here. 4 of a kind. You know what? Yeah. There we go. 8 damage. I easily take her down to 0 with that hand. Sometimes the cards are just in my favor. We do gain a continual bonus by defeating Calamity Jane. If I play a pair, it inflicts 3 damage instead of 1, but not 2 pair or full house. That's going to apply for the rest of the game. And it's mine to keep. All right, so we'll reveal the next villain now. So with the reveal of the next card, we have the scene change. That means that all this business gets shuffled back in. And we start with a fresh hand of 8 cards. The gold miner is even more difficult with 12 available damage to do. Let's bring this up to 12. And now we draw our cards. All right, I'm very happy with this opening hand. I've got a flush to start off with, and I'm going to just play this puppy out because I have the makings of another potential flush. So here we go. Oh, I do need to set the dials. So I have 3 hands now that I can play to defeat him. I only still get 2 discards. And there's 12 damage that has to be done. I have a flush here with a single king. The flush does 5. The king does an additional 1. So that's 6 points of damage straight up to the miner. So we're down halfway already. All right, very happy with that opening hand. All right, now I've got a couple of face cards and all clubs. Potential for a straight flush here if I get very lucky. All right, so bring this down 1 because I played a hand, this down 1 because I am going to draw. All right, I believe I have a straight. All right, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. If I have a straight, that's 4 damage. And because this is a high straight, that is, it's going to do an additional 3. We can take them out. I am going to save that king for later. Maybe I'll get lucky and get another flush. All right, so here's what I'm playing. I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, the straight, which gives me 4, plus 3 face cards, an additional 3, so that's 7. That is enough to take out the miner. He goes down to 0. This goes down to 1. A very lucky hand. All right. The miner gives me the ability, says the spade cards in hand you play this turn are considered a part of whichever suit that you choose. So I can use that once during the game. All right, very good. All right, let's reveal the next villain, Simpleton Joe. All right, so we'll go up to 15 on the amount of damage that we need to do. And we're at 3 and 2 on the dual and discard meter, respectively. All right, let's draw back up to 8. A pretty good hand. hard to beat couple of aces. And something that's looking like it might end up being pretty close to a flush. And let's see. Yeah, I think we might roll with that since we've got clubs here. I think I'm going to turn this into a flush using the gold miner's ability. So it says, spade cards in hand, play this turn are considered to be part of whichever suit you choose. So I think we want to have a flush with a couple extra points. That'll do 7. That'll be close to half the amount of damage that we need to do. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. So we'll play this as our hand. Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Gold Miner. We'll use your effect. We'll go 7 points from the flush, which is 5 plus 2 for the face cards. We'll go down to 8. That was one hand. All right. For discard and draw, I think we're going to go ahead and dump the 8. And we'll get 6 new cards. 1 and 6. Oh, 3 of a kind. All right. Well, 3 of a kind do 3 anyway. I don't think I want to use up one of those aces. I think what I want to do is just go with a pair of aces and a queen. And actually, no, because if I play a pair, it inflicts 3 damage instead of 1. So if I do a pair of aces, that'll be 9 damage all on its own. You can throw away some of these lower cards here. That's what I think I will do. All right, so 2 aces is 6. A pair using Calamity Jane's ability is 3 more, so that's 9. I've taken out Simpleton Joe with that hand. I'm throwing away a lot of aces, so I hope I get an opportunity to recycle the deck here. We'll see how that goes. So, Simpleton Joe, thank you for going down relatively easy. We're down to 0. I'll reset. Now, Simpleton Joe gives me the ability once a game, reveal cards from the poker deck until you find a face card and take it into your hand, with the rest of the cards revealed at the bottom of the deck. All right, we've got a new person coming up. All right, this is a villain, the priest. This one says, I cannot use aces in my hand against this villain. So, what we'll need to do is bump this up to 20. We get just 3 and 2, so this is going to be interesting. Unfortunately, I kept an ace. I hate to have to throw it away, but you know what? Let's see what I get. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. Well, I tell you, I'm not going to be too awfully upset at a couple pair. I do think I need to split this up, though. I may end up doing a pair and a pair. That'll end up doing 5 points for each one. It's going to be rough. Wonder if I should dig and try for a full house here. All right. Or maybe a 3 or even a 4 of a kind, because it looks like we might need that kind of silliness. I think we might want to reveal cards from the deck until I find a face card. All right. Let's do that. Simpleton Joe. Thank you for your assistance. Let's reveal. Oh, looks like the rest are going to be in the bottom of the deck. So I've done 3, 4. Okay. Might have to spend 1 on a refresh after this. All right, king. So now I might be able to get a straight. Again, I don't know that that's going to help me as much as just playing pairs. Okay. I'll do a king and 2 jacks. That'll get me 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 off of that. I'm not feeling good about that. If I use the mule's ability, I could give myself a straight. No, not quite. I'm not allowed to use the ace. Ugh, these villains sometimes. All right, well, I guess I better roll with the best possible. Let's do pair of jacks and a king. That's going to give us 3, 4, 5, 6 damage to the priest this turn. This may be where I end up stopping. I've found difficulty with the priest before, so we're down to 14. I'm going to discard and draw. Dislike discarding aces in this game, but what you gonna do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, may well have gotten a straight this time. No. Well, there's a pair again. Two pairs only going to do 2 damage. Again, I'm reluctant to do worse than that. So we'll do a couple of the queens here. And the 8 and the 2. Ugly, folks, it's ugly. All right, so this is also going to be 5. So 5 more, down to 9. All right, I'll discard. Go gadget. Let's see what comes of this. 1, 2, 3, oh, new, 4, 5, and 6. All right, I need to be able to do 9. 3 of a kind only gives me 3. The queen in there, that's 4. Ugh, just not good. All right, folks, I think the priest may well have done me in. Looking at my hand, any alternatives? Boy, I wish those aces were allowed. Yep. I'm afraid that's it. I do not have it in me. There we go. Last batch of damage that I can do is 3 of a kind for 3, a queen, 4, and that brings him down to 5, brings me down to 0. That takes me out of the game. This is about as far as I've gone, even in my practice runs. I think this is a difficult game, but it's enjoyable, and hopefully it'll make me a little bit better at actually playing poker in the long run. I did not count my cards. I suspect that a lot of folks are going to be yelling at the camera saying, oh, the odds that you were going to get a particular hand were X, Y, and Z. I think if you're good at keeping track of the cards in your graveyard or your discard pile, you'll do better in the game. In any case, we can go ahead and reveal what some of the remaining villains are, just so you could see them. Had I beaten the priest, I would have gotten aces in hands at +5 instead of +3 for the remainder of the game. Other villains that we would have had in there would be the army deserter. 22 points. He would have inflicted +5 direct damage to the current enemy if I'd used him. Bad news voodoo daddy. The ability gained from that would be increasing my discard style by 1. The spirit of wine. Another villain. This one says you can't play heart cards in your hands against this villain. You can see it gets progressively more difficult. And if you beat him, each heart card included in the hand you play adds 2 extra damage points. And that's one that's ongoing. Jack. This one, if you have it, says cards with value 3 in hand, play this turn are considered queens. Clint. I wonder who they're referencing with this one. This one is put the Joker in the discard pile if you beat him. And then, of course, we get to Lord Overkill. So I really only got about halfway, a little bit less, through my enemy's deck. I'm going to show you how difficult this game actually is. All right, folks. Now, if you have any tips for strategy, please do leave them in the comments. I obviously need them. Thank you for checking out this game, and I'll see you next time.